Hello folks, Simulation for the Nation here, and welcome to a guide to tell you how you can take your farming simulation from newbie or average gamer through to pro with ultimate realism there, with 5 mods that are really going to help. Now, there are a lot of guides out there which will give you the top 10 mods to use. They'll give you the best mods to start with, and they are all great and very accurate, but some of these are recently released on either Mod Hub or on King's Mod for PC only, but they add extra levels of realism and just intensity that you just don't get anywhere else. So we're going to start looking into some of those right now, and the first one is nice and easy. You're going to need money when you're coming to farming, and well, it's better than just money cheats. It's easier than just whacking on the loan with no real consequences there. We have the Enhanced Loans mod. This is available on the Mod Hub. Links will be in the description down below, I should say. But this is number 1. We're going to have a look into it right now. You come on into your main menu, and you're going to see it is right here. Now, this one is perfect because, like with any loan in real life there, your loan has to have some capital to mortgage it against, really, to guarantee your loan. And that's exactly what happens with this. It uses... And so we open up the take loan here. It uses the amount of land that you have as a maximum amount for your loan, which will give you a quantity. So what we can see here is the maximum amount that we can actually lend, which is looking at just under 1.5 million. Based off how much land that we own. This is just the generic starting land that you have on Court Farms here. So 1.4 million, and then you can stipulate how much of that you would like. So in this case, we're just going to go for a gentleman's 250,000. And then you also have to stick in there how many years you'd like to pay that back over. And there is interest on that of 3.5%. So let's just go, I know, 10 years, which seems... quite crazy, but the monthly repayments would be £2,500, euros, dollars, that's just over. But when you add your interest on that, it becomes 2,958 per month. So you hit take loan, and there you go. It'll give you the number of months that you have remaining there, so 120 months, and then it will give you the remaining amount there as well. Now you can, once you start to pay that one down, you can come in and then you can pay some of it off. So if you have a good harvest, for example, you can pay off a chunk of it there and start to reduce that figure down, which is really cool. But that gives you everything you'll need there just to get going. And I think that's absolutely superb. It's a lot more, there's a lot more to it than it would be just going into your finance here and then hitting borrow. I just don't think that's the same. There's not as much consequences for that. And you can just go until the game limit hits in, which I just don't think is the same. But this way, at least, it gives you options, and it gives you something that you can guarantee your loan against, and it allows you to continue to grow at a good rate. That's number 1. Number 2, we are staring at our Massey 3670 here, and it's an older tractor. Now, older tractors are subject to having mechanical issues or breakdowns, and it's made all the more fun and entertaining by having the real vehicle breakdowns mod attached. You'll see it in the top corner of the F1 menu, and we're going to come up to this Massey here. You'll also see in the bottom right corner, there is a separate menu that comes up for Massey Ferguson, the MF3670. It's owned by me. It gives you your power requirements there. It gives you how much diesel and the damage level. Right now, I've cranked it all the way up. You'll see that the battery is at 25%. And the reason for that is because some klutz accidentally left the lights on for a while. What happens there is I come on in. It's just not starting. It's turning over there, but there's just not enough juice in the battery to get it going there. So we need to fix that. So we can do that as well. So simply what you want to do is come on up to your vehicle and press Alt-W. Now, there's a few things to know before you look into this. If you're looking at this menu and you don't see your vehicles there, jump on into the settings here, and you want to make sure that repair only in vehicle workshop is turned off, because it just won't find it in that zone. Or in that trigger. So if you come on in though, you press Alt-W again, we're going to look at, these are all the vehicles that we currently have here, and it's vehicles and implements, but you can change it just to vehicles if you would like to shorten that list. And this is the one in question here. So we know that the battery is in need of service. It'll give you your service hour there, so it's 40-hour services at the moment. Again, you can change that periodic service up there as well if you want to, which is nice and easily done. And when you're driving it and it hits that value, it will give you a warning to say that you need to change it. But right now, we know that our vehicle needs some work on it. So we're going to hit inspection, and it's going to provide an inspection there. And it takes about half an hour, and we'll see how it's looking. That will give you the general gist. But we also need to charge our battery there, because that is flat. So we're going to hit charge. It's going to cost us £194 to do it. And then what we're going to do is speed up time a little bit here, so we can see what happens when everything comes up. You will see as it's going along though that the battery charging will be done and we should be good to go there, and it'll start right on up when we're ready. But there's going to be a few warnings and messages coming up there as we progress through as well, so we'll speed up time just a little bit. First one will be in about 11 minutes when we know our inspection is complete. There you go. No repairs required, which is great. It may well also ask you to do other repairs or services as well as when you progress through. That all depends on how you've been using your vehicle and what it's been doing. So keep an eye out for those ones because they could be pretty interesting and unique to the tractor. Very shortly though, this battery is about to be charged up in about 12 minutes time. 20 minutes time, beg your pardon here. And we'll be able to jump back in and start this up as if we are good to go. And there you go, battery has been successfully charged. So we're going to scale everything back down. We're going to jump on in. Starts up like it was nothing. Perfect. Every time on the button there. So it's a really nice mod to have. It's available on King Mods. It is just an extra level of detail that we just haven't had before, and things you have to think about. Something as easy as leaving the beacon on, which I'm dreadful for doing, will drain down that battery quite quickly. The lights will obviously do the same thing as well. So keep an eye on that one when you're parking your machines up at night to make sure that you have got everything turned off. Now we're going to mix up a little bit. We're going to talk livestock right now because we're going to come around the corner here and we've got a mixer wagon set up here ready to go. So we're going to jump on in and we're going to mix up a batch of total mixed ration here for our cattle. And it's nice to have something a little bit different for your livestock. You can get into Maize Plus as well, which is definitely worth doing and checking out there. But this is just a bit more simple and basic. But essentially, you need to make this mix. You need to give this some time to mix up the ration that you need. And it's only right because you can't just throw everything in there and expect it to be good. What we're going to do is jump on into our telehandler here. And we're going to load up these bales that we've put to one side. We'll start with the unwrapped silage bale and then stick that one in. And then we'll get everything else loaded up into here as well. Now all of those will be mixing in there quite nicely, so that's all good. We're going to stick the bale of hay in next. No particular order, no need for the order there, just I know that we're going to need a bit more of this than anything else. And then we'll check in to see how we're looking here in a minute. Alright, so we start everything mixing away there, and you'll see already we are going to be at about 50-50, obviously, for both of these. This will only start to mix properly when you have the correct ratios for your minerals, for the straw, and for your hay and silage there. So it's going to show you how long it needs to mix. You can see it's already starting to mix there. So let's get everything else in here quickly so we can get going. We need a bit of straw. So you'll notice that as I filled this up there, I haven't quite got my ration correct. So you'll see we've got too much straw in there at the moment, which is fine. What that just shows is that it's not going to mix properly because it's not ready. So we're going to empty this out. We're going to refill it again with the correct ratios and we'll show it mixing away. Alright, so we have got everything is in the green now. We are in the correct mix zone there. And you'll see now we're at 2 minutes and 5 seconds per mix. So you got to leave that. You cannot empty that out as TMR until it is all good to go. Once you're done, then you're set. Then it is TMR. So we're going to let that zip on down. And then we'll show you what it looks like when we're all said and done. So we're 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go. Then you can see it's still looking rather green and grass-like, to be honest. Everything is still turning around. But we'll see how we get on. We're 29% completed. Plenty of time to go. Final minute. Still looking green, but everything is progressing nicely. And with 10 seconds left, I'm looking to see if this is going to change. Right now, it is still looking like grass, but we should see it turn into the TMR texture that we know. There it goes. And we are all ready. So now you can drive on into your feed passage, and you are good to go. We, though, are just going to drop it on the deck right there. But all set, ready to go. It is a nice addition to your game. It makes you have to think about feeding in the morning to get everything prepared, especially if you've got to do more than one feeder wagon load, depending on how much you have in there. But yeah, a very nice addition, very simple, but very effective. Now, though, it's time to go and look at some yields. So this mod here is a little bit of a step away from ultra realistic, but still has a lot of realism to it. It is the yield fluctuation. Now, sometimes you will find that no matter what you try to do to your crops there, the weather gods will be against you and your yields just won't be as good. Now, this mod is based off a random number generator there, and it will fluctuate your yields from anywhere between 0.5% to 2.5 times the normal yield that you would receive. That can be varied across multiple different years, which is really cool to see. So ultimately, it could be just as bad weather inputs there. It could be that the soil or the ground conditions were not great. It could be something to do with when you were drilling it, but it will just be a random fluctuation for your yields there. So you could harvest the same field 10 times and you get 10 different yields across it. Now, there are more maps out there, or more mods out there, which will provide even more in-depth additions to your crop establishment and harvesting, but this is a nice approach to still give you the element of uncertainty when you come to harvest it, because most years you cannot control to a degree what that's going to look like. You can try everything in your powers to make it work well and to have the best yield possible, but you'll find that it might just give you some really poor yields that you weren't expecting, and this factors that in. So it makes even trying to predict and plan for your future business opportunities and potential growth or expansion makes it that bit more challenging, because you have to wait to see what that harvest looks like. Now, of course, it's worth pointing out that if you don't take care of your fields, fertilize them correctly, apply the right herbicides on there to kill any weeds, and roll them when drilling, of course your yields will drop even further there, and it may even have a more catastrophic effect if that yield generation and fluctuation is at the lower period. So it is something that's going to be very interesting to watch what happens there. This is probably one of the less invasive mods that you have to use, but it's still something that gives you a lot of extra realism, because ultimately it is farming is occupational gambling to a degree, and you've got to plan around that. For the final mod that we're going to be looking into here, it is the Conversation Agriculture mod. Now, this one goes pretty deep and gives you a lot more thought process into your growing of your crops. Unlike the last one where it's more of a random fluctuation, this is your strategy and your planning that comes into play. This right here is a field of oilseed radish, a cover cropping game that you can use in between your crops as part of a rotation, and it will provide you with benefits into your crop. Typically what you would do with this is you would mulch it down, and we're going to have a little bit of a look at that right now. Now, this here is your in-game typical mulcher by Dalbo. This will go through any crops really, and it will, well, quite frankly, flatten them. It destroys them, removes them from the game there, and allows you to get that seed bed ready to go. So when you do this, it does provide an additional effect on the ground. This will in fact provide with an enhanced fertilization state there, and you can do this not only now across your cover crops, but you can also do it into so not only can you roll these in and cultivate them back in, but you can also mulch them there and gain an improved fertilization state into your soil, which is great to see. You can also direct drill into these precision crops as well, and with the precision farming, that will provide you with a further boost of nitrogen into there as well, which is going to be improved soil quality without having to add in other man-made fertilizers. When you do drill directly into this, weeds will no longer appear either during those growing stages, which is great to see. And we're going to try that now by just drilling straight into here. Now, these effects we described will also be applied into grass meadows, oilseed radish, as long as they're in the ready for harvesting state, so they're fully grown. You can also do it into root crops as well, which is pretty cool once they're in the removed foliage state, so the harvested state really. We are drilling oats here right now, I do believe it is. There you go, we are away and drilling just like that, nice and easy. Now, you can also drill into any other crops as long as they are past half grown and just before the ready for harvest stage. Now, you will also see on the seeder here that when we jump into this tractor, it has an allow create fields mod, which is great, because what that means is that we can come on into any field, and much like you would with a cultivator, you can direct drill into that field and drill your crop into there and still gain those advantages from the increased nitrogen. What we're going to do here, we're in the grass field, we're going to lower it down, and when we look at that, we are direct drilling our oats into this grass field. The grass is fully growing there still, and because of the state it was in with the weeds, it's not gonna, or with the grass cover there, it's not gonna grow any weeds through this as it's growing through, which is really good to see. Now, Sim, why is this conservation, I hear you say? Well, it all comes into a few separate factors here. By drilling, direct drilling like this for any of your crops there, it really reduces down the amount of soil disturbance, because you're not cultivating, you're not uprooting the ground there. So it allows you to continue to limit things like soil erosion, for example. It provides you with a nice organic cover crop, which can then be integrated into the soil through organic matter there, which is great, and it allows for species diversification as well through a good strong crop rotation, which is something you're going to need to look into. Now, what you'd be looking to do with a mod such as this is create a bit more of an interesting crop rotation plan. So you'd look into harvesting your crop. Let's say it's a crop of barley, for example. you would apply any lime that you would need to your field to correct the pH level. You would then look to direct drill your cover crop in there of your oilseed radish, for example. And then when that's ready to go, you would roll or mulch that in to the ground there. Essentially, you're crimping the cover crop so it breaks the stems and kills that off without the need of any man-made herbicides on there. Then you direct drills and your new crop into that cover crop that is in its crimped state. And then you don't need to apply whatever additional nitrogen you would need to get the highest crop yield from the field. And that would be it. It rules out the need for a plow. Some people still will add in additional plowing to reset fields, as they like to refer to it as. But you can get away with a plow and a cultivator, ultimately needing one drill and one tractor to do a much larger field. That is pretty cool, and that just allows you to get a lot more ground covered. Save some money on those bits of equipment there, especially with fuel prices in here, and also wear on your plow and on your tractors as well. So definitely a nicer feature to bring into the game, and something that really makes you think at every turn what that might look like and how you're going to proceed to make the best farming decisions. Now, this mod is available on the mod hub, and unfortunately, like a lot of scripts, it is only for PC right now, but I do strongly believe that Giants are thinking a lot more about this with the development of precision farming, and that in FS25, which may well be coming up very shortly, we could possibly see a lot more in-depth features like this that you could implement into your farming practice. And there you go, folks. That was it. They were the 5 mods that we were looking into. We had enhanced loans, real vehicle breakdowns, the conservation agriculture, yield fluctuation, and the enhanced mixer wagon mods. I hope you have enjoyed this video there of describing 5 mods that you can really bring into your games to take it to the next level. If you have and you've yet to do so, please do hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well to see more videos from me, Simulation for the Nation. Until next time, do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, and we'll see you in the next one.